Hello.
Hello.
Hey, what's up?
How's it going, Max?
Pretty good, pretty good. How about yourself?
Excellent. Good to meet you. I don't think we've actually met before, but just spoke online a couple times.
Yeah. Are you coming to any of the rounds this year?
I'm not sure. Pittsburgh's not too far away, and Indy's not too far. I'm in.
Hey man,
So
come on down. They have the Ovali race again at Pittsburgh, I think. So, dude, that's so much fun to watch. It's awesome.
yeah, man. I was going to ask you about that. I haven't seen the Mini Cup in action yet. So what was that like at Road America?
Um, oh, dude, it was sick. Those dudes are like mini MotoGP riders already. Like, they've already got the attitude. They've got like the leathers and everything. They're really cool. Their riding style. Some of them are already dragging elbow.
Wow.
They're they're gonna be a really talented bunch. I mean, I wish I had Ovalis when I was growing up because those things are sick. But now I'm a bit tall for them. So
Yeah.
you know how it goes.
Yeah, for sure. You're about 6 feet tall.
Yeah, about just a little bit under. I can't claim that 6 foot range yet, but
Understandable. Maybe you're still growing a little bit. You're still
yeah,
young.
yeah, hopefully.
Now, I've even seen, I just opened my Instagram page and I saw, I think it was Rossi on one of those. So, I mean, even big guys do ride them for training.
Yeah. It's just I don't know. I think I'd cramp up after a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. Your knees got to be so high with those foot pegs.
Yeah, exactly. But nah, these kids that are growing up on them and dragging elbow, getting comfortable, getting used to the slicks already. They've got a bright future for sure. Some of them are already racing in Spain and stuff. It's insane. I'm like talking to these kids and like it sounds like they got it going on. So I try to give them pointers when I can, but they've already got coaches and people, and I'm like, wow, you guys are only like 7 years old and y'all are killing it. It's like
Wow, that's amazing. The
awesome.
second, third graders just like out there on the world stage.
Exactly. It's like, wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And you had a pretty good Road America round. You were hovering around the 10th position, 11th position. I think you got a top nine there. And
Yeah. It was a good weekend. It was our first weekend on the 2020 bike. So the bad thing is the first session we went out in, it was like everything we had to fix. Everything was new. The suspension was all wrong. I think we didn't post a lap in the first qualifying until the last 6 minutes
oh no.
because I was like going around doing 2 laps and coming in, then doing 2 laps and then coming in, and I'd never post an actual lap time. So I was like, oh my gosh. So at the end, I was like, whatever the bike's doing, I just got to deal with it, get a lap time in. So that's why in the second qualifying, it was kind of wet. And like only, I think, like 3 or 4 people went out. But like at the beginning, I think, the fastest by like 12 seconds because I was just trying to make sure my bike was okay. Like, I'm like, I got to test the bike. And then I think at the end, Kyle Wyman came out and Tony came out and they knocked me off that top little spot. But, it was a difficult weekend. We finished in the top 10 in the second race and outside the top 10 by one place in the first race. But it was a huge learning curve. We found so many things wrong with the bike. We fixed them. We've still got some issues, but I mean, we were down on horsepower by a lot. Like for Road America, I think our top speed was like 167, 168, where the top guys are like 178, 180. So it's
Yeah,
like,
big difference.
yeah, I mean, if you're on the interstate and someone passes you at 10 miles an hour faster, it's like, geez, that guy's flying. So
Oh yeah.
on the motorbike, it's the same thing. Like I said, we learned a lot, and the 2020 bike's starting to feel really comfortable. So I'm excited for this year. It's going to be a great year, hopefully.
Awesome. And what's the biggest thing you guys are working on? It sounds like you're down on horsepower, so engine work, or is it electronics that you're working on?
Well, we always need electronics. I mean, I've heard so many racers talk about how amazing electronics are and all this, and like, we don't have an electronics person, so it's really difficult. I mean, you hear some of their bikes come around corners and they're just pinned, and their bikes just are and I'm like, if I do that, I'm on my butt. Like, so we're we're hoping to get an electronics guy because I feel that would really step up our game, especially with tire wear throughout the race. Like the last couple laps of my race, I'm just like sliding in the rear quite a bit, where not as much as the other riders. So, and then what was it? We got to work on our engine, but we were doing some pre-dyno testing before Road America, and we bought some new fancy parts, and they didn't work with the electronics we had. And it's like right now the bike's at the part where it's like you buy one part and then you need another part to make it work, and then you need another part to make that one work, and you need another part to make that one work, and it's like the bill keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. We were talking to Yamaha Attack Team the other day, and they were saying that we should look into the electronics they have, and then they could help us out. But I think the cost of it was like 40 grand, and we were
Wow.
that's like half of our budget for the year. Like we can't do that. So yeah, we think we found something that could give us more top speed and more horsepower. So that'll be interesting, especially going to some of these other rounds with long straights. But yeah, Road America round, it was more just suspension, getting me comfortable, making the bike work for me. Because like half the time I was like, dude, it doesn't want to turn. Like I'm like leaning off the bike and I'm fighting it, and it just wants to go that way. So we got it dialed in pretty well. We got our fastest time I think ever there. So I felt pretty confident. Some people were commenting with me and going, dude, I was impressed with you this weekend. So that's always nice. So yeah, a lot of work to do.
Yeah, I think it got down to like a 2:16.5 when you were there.
Yeah, in the race, I think the last lap was my 2:16.5 because I was dying to catch Michael Gilbert.
Yeah.
I was like, come on, I gotta do it.
Yeah, you and Michael had a good battle there.
Yeah, he at the beginning, my start was all right, and then I think he passed me to turn 3 or something. Or no, turn 2. I don't know. That kink is strange. I think it's turn 3.
Yeah.
And then him and Corey were in front of me, so I was chasing them down. Those Kawasaki's are fast. I mean, I know they're stock thousands, but they are fast. Like my bike was struggling to keep up with them on the straights. But then, we were fighting. I was more chasing the whole race. Corey pulled away a little bit. And then at the end, I like gritted my teeth, gotta go for it. Push, nearly crashed in like 3 of the corners. But then we got onto the back straight and coming out of the chicane, and I was like on Michael's butt, and then he missed a shift. And I was like, that's my break right there. So unfortunately he missed the shift. I kind of drafted up next to him, got him into the next corner, and then that was the race. So yeah, it was fun. I like racing with these guys because last year when the super stock weren't in our race, I had a kind of gap. It was like the guys behind me, then the guys in front of me, and then me in the middle, and it was like 5 to 10 seconds each way. So I was it was kind of lonely. And then so it's nice that there's other bikes out there that I get to fight with, that I get to make moves with, because then also it gets me some TV time, which is very important.
That's not bad for the sponsors, is it?
No, exactly.
Yeah, and fighting with those guys, whether it's super stock or super bike, it doesn't really matter. If you're fighting and you have a good battle and they're at your pace, then you can start to push and learn from them and take different lines passing, and it helps you out.
Exactly. I mean, Road America helped me a lot because, especially on the brakes, because it's such a deep braking zone that when you're trying to pass all these people, it's like you got to be brave. You got to go in there and be like, I'm going to brake super deep this time. So the good thing is once you've broke that deep and you felt it, it's like that becomes the new norm. And then next time when you do it, it's normal, and then you have to push yourself a bit further. So yeah, it was really good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. And I don't think people understand how much physical endurance and strength is required to ride a super bike at the top level of the marathon. So talk about how much, physical training you have to do just to hold on to that thing.
Yeah, and the first time I rode that bike, I was super excited, and it was a VIR, and I hit the gas, and I nearly fell off the back of it. Like I literally slid all the way up here onto like the back fender, and I'm just like, ow, and on.
Wow.
And you see a lot of the riders have little bumps in their seat now to help them hold on because they just accelerate so fast, and you need a lot of strength to keep them like stay on the bike. It's yeah, I have to train every single day. I just bought a new mountain bike, so I've been doing a lot of cycling because I really dislike running. I do not like running at all, but
Yeah.
I do it. But I'm getting more into the cycling now, and then yeah, training every day, more endurance kind of training, lots lighter weight but tons of reps, lots of cardio training. It's you have to be ready for those bikes. So I've seen a lot of people. I mean, you go to track days, and then I'll get on the bike and ride all day, every session as long as I can, and then some people are packing up like after the session after lunch, and I'm like, where are you going? They're like, oh dude, I'm beat. And I'm like, oh okay, I'll see you later then. Like, you know.
Right.
So yeah, it does take a lot of physical strength, throwing the bike around, moving around the bike fast and explosive like way. It's difficult. Yeah, you have to be fit. I mean, I've seen some guys that aren't as fit as like some of the pros, and they still are rockets around the track. But when you get into our races, when you're pushing, 20 laps, it's like I've seen those guys do great at the start, and then towards the end, you see seconds coming off their time, and then that's when someone with better endurance can pick them off. So I think it's very important about your endurance, your training. If I mean, if I'm not training, my dad comes in and goes, "What are you doing?" Like, he's
Yeah.
like, "You better get out and do something." I mean, if you want to keep racing, you got to stay fit. So, yeah, it's very, very important.
Yeah. And to all those people who say, oh, you're just sitting on a motorcycle, you're really not sitting. You're only sitting when you're straight up and down with zero lean angle I mean, Road America is different because they have 3 long straightaways, but normally
Yeah.
10, 15 seconds a lap, you're actually sitting.
Yeah, I think they did a study once, and it was like they put I think a pressure thing on one of the MotoGP riders' seats. I
Yeah.
think they touched the seat maybe like 3 times on one track, and I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, dude, we're always on the side of the seat. We're always like moving around. We're always like levitating kind of over it. Like sometimes you kind of slide, but like you're always on your feet trying to ride. It's like doing a squat for like 45 minutes. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's yeah, people when I was back in school, they were always saying to me, it's like, racing, whatever. And I'm like, no, not whatever. It's like
Yeah.
they've never I've spoken to people who've never gotten arm pump before, and I'm like, if you haven't gotten arm pump, you haven't been, really pushing yourself, because arm pump, your arms turn into cinder blocks. It's like, because that's how hard we're fighting and holding on and stuff. And yeah, that's one of my biggest pet peeves when people are like, dude, you don't need to do much to ride a motorbike. I'm like, yeah, if you're on a ride down the street and just
Yeah, sure.
cruising, yeah, you don't. But when you're doing what we do, it's a lot to endure for sure.
Yeah, and then you have like if you have baseball or hockey or basketball, there is some level of danger and you can get hurt, but in this sport you can get seriously injured or die from it. So
Yeah, I mean, I've already grinded off one of my fingers.
oh wow, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, the amount of broken bones other riders and me have gotten from this sport. Like you said, I've done soccer, I've played football, I've done pretty much every other sport just to, participate and do stuff. But, racing is a whole nother level for me. I mean, in soccer, I mean, you're sprinting a lot, but you get breaks. Like you get to, catch your breath if the ball's on the other side of the field, whatever. Baseball, once someone's like, if you're batting and after you're done, you go sit in the pen, and then, or if you're fielding, you're waiting for the pitch. I mean, you get breaks. When you're racing, I mean, as soon as that light goes, you're 100% sprinting until you see the checkered flag. Like you're giving all of your efforts, and that's what I don't think that some people get. It's like, yeah, in other sports you get breaks, you get to relax every now and then. If you relax on a motorcycle, you're either crashing or you're getting passed. So
Yeah.
it's a different game altogether.
Yeah, and one reason I like racing in general over most other sports is you could have a great hockey game personally for you as a player, but still lose the game. There is no way you could have a bad game and still win a race, right? You know what I mean? Like you can't be terrible out there and happen to win. It's not.
It is a very solo kind of sport. I mean, it is still a team sport because you got, you know, all your team mechanics and stuff. But yeah, I like I said, when I played soccer, dude, I would play the best game of my life and we would lose, and I would be like, dude, why? But that never happens in racing. The racing is completely up to me. If I have a bad race, I have a bad race. I don't win. If I have a great race, you know, I have a great race and I can win. You know, so yeah, I completely agree with that.
Yeah, it can be frustrating if you know, the other half of the team is, you know, pulling you down. But if it's all on you, you got nobody else to blame but yourself.
That's it. I mean, most riders blame their bike a couple times, but yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. And I saw that you were kind of all over the place with some interviews lately. I saw you were on So You Want to Ride, a motorcycle podcast.
Yeah. Recently, we've had a couple guys just come up and like kind of hang out in the pits. And I mean, like we're happy and open to whoever wants to help. So they've come to dinner with us. They've spoken to me and they're like, hey, come on. I'd love to interview you. I'd love to get you on my podcast and that kind of stuff. And I'm like, dude, the more the merrier, right? There's no bad publicity. Well, there's some bad publicity, but you know, it's getting your name out there. That's one of the biggest things as a rider. And we can't be the friendliest team in the paddock if we don't talk to people. So, you know, yeah, it's been good. I mean, talking about racing's easy. It's just comes naturally to me. So.
Sure, yeah, it's just hanging out and talking. We might not know each other, but we do now, and it's just, you know, shooting the shit about some motorsports.
Exactly.
So tell me about your background. I don't know too much about it. I know that you are a UK native, Great Britain, the mainland over there.
Yeah. Everyone gets confused because they hear my mom and dad talk and they're like, oh, they're from England, and then they look at me and they go, where are you from? I'm like, I'm a mutt, honestly. I was born in England, lived there 11 years. Then I was you know, moved to Louisiana, which was a huge change.
Culture shock, I'm sure.
Exactly. So I was like, you know, going from this proper little school to like, you know, the country woods of Louisiana. And it was, yeah, big culture shock. And now I moved to New Hampshire. So I live out here now in the freezing cold winters. And it's yeah, I've been a lot of places, done a lot of stuff, and I've had a lot of fun. I mean, Louisiana, I still consider that my home right now because that's where like most of my friends are. And, you know, I loved it there. We had a good plot of land with a motocross track in it.
Oh, nice.
I know the neighbors all the time. It was awesome. But,
so what's the motivation to move over to the States?
So back when I was a kid, we raced grass track in England. Have you heard of grass track?
I have not. I'm not too familiar with that.
So it's very similar to flat track, but it's there's a lot of, you know, farming in England, so there's a lot of big grass fields and pretty much big grass oval, and the only difference is we have knobbly tires. So it's less sliding. They also have grass track bikes, which are like custom framed monsters. They're so cool. But yeah, we were racing there. I started when I was 6, and yeah, I think I won 4 national championships there. So I think I went 1 year. I set a record because I think we had about 60 plus races, and I went undefeated. I didn't lose one race. So that was like a record, which was awesome. But I was killing it in grass track. And then my dad came home one day and he's like, hey, want to move to America? And I was like, what? And he goes, yeah. I was like, I was a kid at the time and I was watching this show in England called Only in America. And it was showing you all the coolest things in America, like underwater hotels and like, you know, Disneyland and all this cool stuff. So I was like, yes, I want to go to America, like 100%. But the reasoning behind it was Dad had a job offer over here. So, you know, that would be a good move for him. He's never been known to stay in the same place for more than 3 years or something. But he was also thinking to progress my racing. In England at the time, you couldn't race on like the the street at 12 years old. Road tracks at 12 years old, like you could in America. It was a later age. And then my dad was also, watching Kevin Schwantz and Wayne Rainey and all these American legends coming over, and they started with flat track and then they went to road racing and then they dominated, So he wanted me to follow kind of in their footsteps. So we did grass track, which was like flat track. And then he's like, let's get you over to America, get you on a road bike earlier, and start racing towards what your dream is. And I was like, yeah, 100%, let's do it. My dad is my biggest supporter, my biggest critique, and he's always done moves for me with my career, which has been like to better me as a rider, and he hasn't steered me wrong yet. So, yeah, it was a good move. And I mean, like, now we're racing superbike at the top level in America. I mean, Motor America is really stepping up and stuff. So, yeah, it was a great move to come over here.
Yeah, it sounds like you got a lot of good experience in that grass track over there. Now talk about, I'm not too familiar with it. So how does a grass track progress through the day or the weekend? Does it turn into like a dirt track? Because I'm sure that gets worn away from all the sliding.
Yeah, it all depends. Like, so it's all different fields. The worst part was the cows were in the field before we raced, so it'd always be cow crap on the track, which
don't crash there, right?
Yeah. So that's why I wanted to win so bad. I was tired of getting cow crap in my face. It changed per track. So like if it was a dry weekend, all the grass would get chewed up, and it would get better throughout the weekend because it'd get looser, and then the bike would have more movement. But sometimes you go to tracks that was all grass, and then it rain like wet grass on dirt bikes was nuts, because even if you didn't want to slide, you were going sideways.
Yeah, it's just gonna happen.
It all depended on the track. Some of the fields were like on a slant, so you would come down into a corner super fast, and then you could run it into the next corner even hotter because it was uphill. But yeah, it would pretty much start. You'd have a practice, and then it was race time. We'd have 6 races in a weekend, so it was pretty much just kept going around, kind of like a track day almost, where it was different times, had different things, but it was a 6-lap sprint race. So you get on the bike, you roll to the start. It was a tape start. Thing would shoot up, you would go, and 6 laps as fast as you can, race over. And then they tally up your points. So like whoever won the most out of 6 races was the ultimate winner over the weekend.
I gotcha.
So like if you did really well, you could win 4 of them and come second in 2, and you'd still be the winner of the weekend. But that, as I was saying before, that was when I won all of them the whole year. I think we had 10 races, 6 at each, and I didn't lose a single one. So
it's dominant.
I was loving it. I was on a Kawasaki 65 two-stroke, and I was loving it. I was upsetting all the KTMs out there. It was awesome.
Yeah. What do you think, what was the factor that made you so dominant in those races back then? Was it just experience or practice?
I think it was more practice. I mean, we had a track near us that was owned by another guy, and we went there every single weekend. I mean, I was on a bike every weekend. And then my dad got really, really close with the owner, and then my dad started co-running it, and then unfortunately the owner passed away. So then my dad took it over. And then while everyone would come, we'd ride for like, I think 5 hours or something. And then everyone would leave. But then my dad had to groom the track. So while he was grooming the track, there was this infield which had sand pits. It had jumps. It had stairs. It had big tires to go around. So while he was doing that, he'd just be barking orders. He'd like go through the sand, hit the jump, around the tire 3 times, back here as fast as you can. So there I'd go. So I was just constantly on a motorcycle doing anything that I could, and it really, really progressed my riding for sure. So
it sounds like your dad had some sort of master plan. Was he a racer himself?
Unfortunately not, actually. I mean, he wanted to road race all of his life. I mean, he still thinks he's faster than me, which I think is highly undoubt. No,
You
but
guys should test it out. Go to a track day or something.
dude, I would love to, but he has an excuse every time. I'm like, right now he's like, I don't have a bike. I was like, well, you can ride one of mine, and then he goes,
Sure.
well, I can't fit in my leathers. I'm like, well, lose weight, like So yeah, he's been pushing me my whole life. He's never really raced. Like he did track days and stuff, but back when he was a kid, his parents completely said that. They're like, no. And at the time, you needed parents' permission, and without it, he couldn't. So he did every kind of racing that didn't require parents' permission. So he did a lot of drag racing. He did some desert racing. He did enduro racing. He did motocross. He did quad racing. He's done lots and lots and lots of different racing. He's worked on multiple different vehicles, cars, quads, motorcycles, weird stuff. So he's been racing, but just not road racing. So he can fix my bike, but then when I'm like, oh, it's doing this in the corner, he's like, So yeah, I'll get him on the track one day. He has a beautiful, was it RZV 500 two-stroke downstairs,
Okay.
a Wayne Rainey replica, and
Wow.
that thing is a dog. Like we changed it so it has R6 front swing arm and no rear swing arm and front forks. And oh my god, that thing's sick. Like I swear it kicks harder than my R1 when you hit the power band. So we're gonna get him on the track on that, and I'll go on my R1 and we'll goof off a little bit. But that day is gonna come in the long run when he can fit in his leathers. So
Yeah, for sure. I got a bunch of people in my family I'd love to take to the track and actually have them ride and like show them the ropes and like this is why it's so fun.
yeah. Yeah, the amount of people I talk to who ride on the street, and I'm like, dude, you got to do a track day. And they're like, why? And I'm like, think about it. Go as fast as you want, no cars to hit you.
Yeah.
Where's the down point in that? So, and
Yeah.
then once they do it, they're addicted. They want to go all the time. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I told you, you won't even want to ride on the street anymore. It's
It
so
just
much
changes
fun.
your whole perspective on it.
Exactly. And they learn so much too. It's like you ride on the street, you can learn a little bit, but it's not safe. You can push those limits, but I mean, why not do it in a safe environment where if you crash, you got some runoff where you're not going to hit anything. It's not the crashing that hurts most people on the street. It's what they hit. Yeah. So, yeah, when I get people on the track days, dude, they like pretty much just put their bike into track mode and then they start driving their car everywhere else.
Yep, for sure. And so this year's been a little bit all over the place with this whole pandemic and COVID. What was your preseason testing schedule like, or did you have any testing this year?
We unfortunately didn't have any testing on the 2020 bike. It was just kind of bring the old bike and get on the bike, shake off the cobwebs. But it was all before the Daytona 200. So we were like, I did, I think, 3 or 4 track days before the 200 prepping for that. And they didn't go that well. My bikes kept breaking for some reason. I have no idea why. But
So you're on an R6 for the Daytona 200?
Yeah. So I was on that. That broke a couple of times. And I was on the R1, and that broke a couple of times. And, like, I was fixing my bikes more than riding them on the track days. But yeah, the plan was, it's every year we do some track days and then we do the 200 and then that sets you up for the start of Road America because, the 200's a feat, it's like
it's
a
big.
long, long ride. So it gets you ready for all of it. And then they canceled the 200 and they canceled a bunch of track days. And I was sat here like, well, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
So, they shut down all the motocross tracks around here. So I was watching, the guys in California, they were still riding motocross and doing all this stuff. And I was like, I can't do that. So I was messaging my friend. He's ex-pro AMA motocross rider, and he's a beast. And he has a track behind, they have a Tractor Supply place, and behind it they have this pretty sick track. So he let me ride there, I think, once or twice. So that was really fun to get training there. But that's why I bought the mountain bike, because I've been looking at them and I'm like, oh, man, they're so expensive.
Yeah, they can be.
Yeah, and I'm like, I want a good one because I always bought ones from Walmart and I'd break them in like a year.
Yeah.
I'd just snap them in half. and I was like, I need to buy a good one that lasts. I finally got one, and that's pretty much what my training's been now. I get up, I go ride my bicycle for however miles I can, and then I come back, I eat some lunch, and then I work out, and then I do whatever I need to for the rest of the day, and that's my kind of routine at the moment. But now racing's back and the motocross tracks are opening. I think next Wednesday, I'm going to ride a big track and stuff. So just trying to stay on anything with handlebars and two wheels and have fun.
Yeah, for sure. You know, I raced and rode on the track from 2011 to 2015. I also did another track day in 2018, but I got into mountain bike racing because, you know, it's significantly cheaper for me.
Yes.
It was really a money thing. I just couldn't afford it, even with the sponsors that I had. It just wasn't enough at my level.
Yeah.
And so I transitioned to the foot racing, the mountain bike racing. I want to do some triathlons here, staying fit until I can afford to get back into the motorcycle racing.
100%. Yeah.
And yeah, it's another, it's a whole new world, the mountain bike racing, where, you know, I'm great on the downhill, the technical stuff, the difficult sections, but when it comes to the uphill climbs, I'm like, man, I just need a better engine here.
Yeah, dude, it's that leg power you need. Yeah, but I haven't done any mountain bike racing. I've seen it and it looks really, really sick. I just need to get more comfortable with the mountain bike, like throwing it around a bit more. Like I still crash a lot off of jumps. Like I'll go off a jump and then right before it, something will happen. I'll just go off like this. And I'm like, oh, that's
sideways. Yeah.
So it's like I'm not able to like correct it yet. So I do have a lot of like respect for mountain bike racers because I mean, what is it? Swahn, who used to be in the KTM Cup, he used to mountain bike race all the time, and he was awesome.
Like, Swahn Unvarsky, is it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he came to the track. I mean, he would wheelie anything, and
he's a stunner.
Yeah, he's a crazy kid. He was awesome. I miss him at the track, honestly, but he was kind of the same way. He was racing mountain bikes, and then he was stunning motorbikes, and then now he started racing them because, you know, his budget just kind of came along. And I mean, all the skills he took from stunting and from mountain biking, I think he won a race and he was on the podium multiple times. I mean, it's like I said, it's great training. That dude went to Barber and he could wheelie down all the tiers, like just on the back wheel of a mountain bike. I'm like, dude, you're insane. This is sick. So
it's pretty wild. Yeah, he's got some talent. I'm sad he didn't. I don't know what happened with what his situation was, but he was one to look out for. He was definitely an up and comer, I'd say.
Yeah, and he was one of my favorites for the podium too. Like he could be first, second, third, but dude, that dude was pumped. I see a lot of the riders and they get on the podium, they didn't win, and they're just like, yeah, it was a good race, but you know, I didn't win it, and I'm like, bruh, if I was on the podium, I'd be doing backflips.
Like, yeah, he's excited. He's pumped. He's got the energy. He's like, I love being here. I love it.
Exactly. And that's what I love seeing. I mean, like, if I was on the podium, dude, I would be so pumped. I mean, like, first, second, third, I'd be so ecstatic. I'd be like, let's go. So, I mean, there's not many chances you get to race at the top level in any country. But then to be on the podium too, in any of the levels, I mean, 600s, whatever, but yeah, it would be sick. And that's what I loved about him.
Yeah, for sure. And are you, when you mountain bike, are you clipped in or you use the flat shoes?
Flat shoes.
Flat shoes?
Yeah, I've ridden with clips, and I like it for long distance ride because, you know, I didn't realize I went road cycling with my friend in Louisiana all the time, and he had the clips in, and I didn't. Yeah. And then you use the clips in, and I'm like, dude, this is so much easier. Like, you start pulling when you get tired. I'm like, dude, you've been cheating this whole time, like just killing me out here. But yeah, no, I just use the flats because, like I said, with the jumps and stuff I do. The amount of times I gotta bail, I can't have my feet clipped.
For sure. You know, I've done 2 seasons so far of mountain bike racing. I did basically like a half a season in 2018. I did the full season in 2019. And so far, both those seasons, I've been on regular shoes. because I'm the same way. I'm too nervous to put in the clips, even though it's faster. I'm willing to struggle more with just the shoes. So I did upgrade over the winter break, and I've been practicing with them. I do have the clips now. And yeah, what a difference it makes. All my sector times for Strava, everything's like PR because
you're pushing and pulling instead of just pushing, and it's like your legs get like do more work, but it's not on the same muscle, so it's like it's easier and 100%.
Better distributed.
So where are you based if you're doing mountain bike racing?
Not so I'm in
Michigan.
So yeah. I'm in Michigan. So there's a 10-round series in Michigan. They go all around the state. And there's actually really great mountain biking in Michigan. There's not really mountains, so it's not quite downhill. It's they consider it cross country / downhill. So it's a little bit of going through the forest, going through the dirt or the open field, and there's usually a dirt trail that's been worn away. And then so there's 4 different classes in mountain biking. It goes I think beginner, sport, expert, and then elite. So even though I'm an expert and pro licensed motorcycle racer, I was like, well, I'm just going to start at the bottom way up because I'm not an expert mountain bike racer yet. It's very different. So I started a beginner. I won the championship actually right here, the jersey. I won in beginner for mountain biking. And then I moved up the next year to sport. I got 3rd in the state. And then I think I'm going to stay there next year or this year. This year's kind of broken up though, cause they canceled a lot of the rounds.
Yeah. Cause of coronavirus. Yeah.
Yep. So, but this year will be the first year I'm racing with clips on. So it's a little bit different. Not ready
for that another championship. I see.
Trying to get that championship before I move up. You know, I haven't won a race yet in sport. So I don't think I should move up yet.
Yeah, no. As long as you're not sandbagging, you know.
No, not for sure. And I'm running my business and I'm working a full-time job, so I don't have a ton of time to train. Suffers a little bit here and there, and that's okay for now. But I just love to be out there and just competing.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I go out every now and then, and the mountains here are pretty insane. That's why, I mean, I'd be in beginner level if I was racing for sure, because around here I like kick my own butt riding. So but yeah, it's definitely a cool skill set you can get from it. It's a lot of control. I mean, throwing the bike around, whipping it around tight corners, you know. So, and it does involve a lot of the skills and muscle groups that you use in racing. So it's really, really good. I enjoy it. I was thinking either road bike or mountain bike, and I was like, I much prefer, you know, flying down a mountain and hitting rocks than I do just, you know, riding 40 miles. Because, I mean, I could ride 10 miles in the mountains on that, and it's equivalent to the workout of me, you know, riding 40 miles on a road bike. So
it's very different, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, you're going way, way slower, but you're still pushing yourself just as hard. So,
and are you on a hardtail or a full suspension?
Hardtail. I was looking at the full suspensions, like the Santa Cruzes and stuff, and dude, it's just the price. I was looking for my price was 1,000, 2,000. Like that's where I wanted to be. And like when you look at the full suspension bikes, they're just 3,000 plus, and I'm like, whoa. And I was looking for used ones, and they just weren't popping up. And I'm like, dude, if I'm gonna spend this much money on a used bike, I might as well just get a new one. And then I just went for it. I was like, I'm getting this one. Let's go.
Yeah. Well, good. Yeah, actually got a flat of mine I got to replace before I go ride later. But yeah, they're not cheap, and I got the one just below carbon. So
okay, yeah.
Full suspension, but it's not the the super.
Yeah, it's not the top, but it's pretty close.
Yeah, it's well, the thing was, I was on a 19-year-old mountain bike when I won the championship. Vintage mountain bike. It was a 2000, and man, that thing it was ready to be replaced. So I held out for a long time. I had a couple 1,000 miles on that old bicycle, but it held up. So yeah, I was ready to upgrade for sure.
I bet. And now the new one, it's just like butter, right?
It's so much better. The other one sounded like an old box of wrenches every time.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and Let's see. Oh, I wanted to ask you, I see you even got a yellow shirt on. You got a yellow bike too. Right? Yep.
Yeah.
The idea behind the yellow bike, is that just to stand out, or?
Partly, yeah. When I met up with Tim, the main sponsor, uh, we he always raced yellow Buells. That's how I met him. I was a kid, and I met him at the first time I saw him was when we got a race license together. I think
Okay.
he was 50 something, and I was 12. So like it was weird because I met him, and like as a kid, dude, I wasn't afraid of anyone. I'd go talk to anyone about anything. So I like ran up to my parents and like, hey, I'm a new friend, and they're like, oh, cool. I was like, his name's Tim. So they're like expecting another 12-year-old called Tim, and they
Yeah.
walk over and there's this 50-year-old dude with a big old mustache, and they're like, what? And I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, this is Tim. So kind of he raced, I raced, like we bump into each other at racing, but he always had a big yellow Buell. His scooter had a big yellow smiley face on it. Like you couldn't miss him. So I'd always go find him at the races, see how he was doing, cheer him on, I'd go stand at the wall and tell him how big his gap was behind him. Eventually, cards laid out, and I was racing for him. So he's always ran yellow. The reason why is there's two reasons. One, he works at a helicopter company, and they spray a lot of yellow helicopters. So whatever's left in the spray gun, he's like, hey, slap it on this bike.
Yeah,
So,
why not?
free paint job by a good helicopter painter. I mean, it's good. And then also he likes it that we stand out. I mean, we were watching the Motor America race on TV the other day because I was trying to figure out where I can go faster and stuff. And dude, on the start line, it's like all these bikes and a big old yellow one with 88 on it. It's like, dude, we stand out.
Yeah.
I mean, photographers always tell me they love me because I'm so easy to, oh, there he is.
Yep.
It's like, so it's kind of good. At the beginning, I was a lime green and black guy because I was, on the monster. I was like, monster, cool. And then dude, I've converted. I'm full yellow motorcycle, ripping. Everyone can see me. People love it. We got the yellow shirts. I mean, if you come to our pit, you're just like, whoa. So
You're blinded a little bit, right?
but it's part of our team now. So it's like everyone knows us as the big yellow bike. My dad always tells people to cheer for the big yellow banana out there, and I'm like,
Yeah.
it never works.
Yep, it's recognizable. It's your signature. It become your part of your style, I suppose.
Exactly.
And everybody, when you're looking through your photos at the end of the day and trying to pick out all your photos, it's easy. Oh, there's a yellow one.
Yeah.
100 black and blue and some reds in there, but the yellow one's just so obvious.
Exactly. I mean, we go to track days, and like how like they post all the pictures on like the boards, and I walk up, I'm like, there I am. It's like other people have to dig through and find all these things. I know exactly where my yellow bike is. So.
And, tell me about Thrash Bike Racing a little bit. Is that your race team, and how did that come to be?
So I used to be Max Flinders Racing because my dad made it for me as a kid, and I have a little website and stuff. But like I said, when we started racing with Tim, he used to race Buells with a lot of different riders, and he was Thrash Bike Racing, and they were racing the Harley Cup, the XR 1200s, and they were still Thrash Bike Racing, and that's been Tim's team. He's been Thrash Bike Racing. He's raced for Thrash Bike Racing. He owns Thrash Bike Racing. And then when I joined him, I've been taken under the Thrash Bike Racing team. Our bikes are definitely thrash. I mean, last year there was a lot of duct tape involved, but our saying is if it looks good at 100 miles an hour, then it's all right, right? So, yeah, we don't always have the best bike or the prettiest bike or, the best prep, but, dude, I will ride the heck out of it. So, that's why the name works so well with our team because, I mean, we ain't got all of it, but we'll make it work.
Yeah. And what's it like competing as a privateer in the superbike class versus the fact? Well, they're not factory teams anymore, right? They're kind of factory,
They're very, very close, but not full. I mean, the M4 team was they were a big team last year, but I mean they took the Yoshimura bikes, so it's still pretty much a factory bike, just not with as much budget. I don't think. I mean, M4 is doing extremely well, so maybe they do have the budget. I'm not sure, but and then Attack Yamaha. I mean, Attack was a separate team, and then but they've got all new bikes this year. But I know they're doing. I mean, their bikes are amazing too. So
Yeah.
I don't know if they're factory anymore or not, but their bike. I know one thing: their riders and their bikes are really, really, really good. So it's difficult. I mean, like we were talking to one of the Attack Yamaha guys. We're emailing him because we need some help with the bike and stuff, and we were telling him how we needed new yokes and stuff because we just got these new forks and they don't fit in the stock ones. And then he came back and he's like, "You did a 215 with stock yokes?" And I went, "Yeah." And he goes, "That's really impressive." And then those little bumps here and there, like they really boost me. I'm like, because I don't know. I mean, I'm racing. These guys are doing breaking lap records and stuff, and I'm like chasing them. But like when someone says something like that, it's like, dude, you're doing that on that, and it's like, and they realize how I'm doing it. It's really good, but it's difficult. I mean, like you said, the budget is a big thing in racing. We see a lot of racers come in and then they buy an 18-wheeler and they're all the flashy and cool and stuff, and then they never show up again because they went broke. And it's like, that's why we've got the little truck. That's why, we've got just the pop-up canopies and all this like normal stuff, because if we did go out and, buy all the new flashy stuff, we'd be broke. We wouldn't be making all the races. And then what's the point of going out there, So you got to be smart. The biggest thing is probably budget and practice. I mean, these guys are practicing on their bikes nearly every weekend. They've got personal trainers. They've got different nutritionists. They've got people cooking for them at the track where I go, and I'm the truck driver. So if it's a 5-day drive to get there, I got to drive for 5 days. I'm not eating well while I'm driving for 5 days because, you're trying to stay on the road. So it's fast food. And then I'm not training either. So there's definitely some difficulties. I got to set up when I get there. I got to strip down when I get done. I work really hard to keep the team going. They all think I know where everything is in the truck. So they're just like barking at me going, this. So I have to run back and forth where some of the other riders, while I'm working in the truck and fixing the bike, they're getting massages. And I'm like, okay.
Sitting in an ice bath or something.
Exactly. So it is difficult. And it's a challenge that a lot of people have tried to take on and have given up, but I'm not ready to give it up yet. I need to keep fighting with it. I want to definitely what my team wants for me is to get picked up by a bigger team so I can have kind of the luxuries of, flying in, relax, or training until the day I fly in, then get in there, relaxing, getting treated pretty much like a king, and then, riding in the most relaxed, comfortable state I can instead of, me getting out of a truck, stretching my back after a long journey and then moving stuff around and stuff. So hopefully, fingers crossed, I'll get there one day. We've seemed to be turning a lot of heads this year with some of the track times and who we've been talking to. So, like I said, fingers crossed always. Hopefully we get picked up by a bigger team. And then the day my dad gets to actually watch me race from a corner with a Corona in his hand, that will be the day that he is happy.
Yeah, and I mean, even if you don't get picked up by a bigger team, maybe your team could grow to where you have more hands, more people helping out. And so you can kind of step away from working on it and go relax instead of working on your bike.
Exactly. Well, one thing though is if my team did grow and we got some help, my dad would have to learn to loosen up a little bit because he's my main mechanic. I trust him. I mean, with my life, obviously. I mean, I get on the bike after he's messed with it and I go tear up a track. Who he lets work on the bike that's difficult. I mean, you have to know what you're doing and prove it to him. I mean, the first time you work on the bike, he's going to triple check you. and you're gonna be like, dude, just leave me alone. I know how to put a tire in. But
Yeah.
you know, it's one of those things. I mean, I'm his son. He wants me safe, and yeah. So yeah, it would be good if we got help, but it'd have to be a very specific person.
Right. You have to be vetted the right way. Get past those security clearances.
Yeah, exactly.
Very good. And tell me about some of your sponsors. You got any new sponsors coming on for 2020?
We have a lot. Well, not a lot. There's a lot of small ones. So I always post. I'm like, oh, a new sponsor, and everyone's like, awesome, because they're thinking they're giving me, like 20 grand, and I'm like, no. But we get a lot of small sponsors. We take whatever we can get. I mean, we're talking to this guy at Wisconsin. He was like, hey, I'd love to help you out. And I'm like, any way you can help, like for sure. And he's like, well, I work with Rides and Drives. And I was like, I do a lot of promotions and stuff. And I tried to help out another team, but their minimum like payment to help out was 10 grand. And I was like, we've never got 10 grand from anybody.
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't offer a lot, but I've got $500 and I'd love to help. And if I could get a sticker on the bike, I'm like, yeah, $500, I'll take it. We put a new steering column on the truck, so it's safer now because it was sketchy before. And that money goes towards fixing things that makes it easier for us to go racing. So all the small things help. So those guys helped at Wisconsin. Used Bike Direct probably did the most for me. Honestly, the website, they sponsored me so I could spread it, but it doesn't really need spreading because it's so freaking cool. It's Amazon for motorcycles.
Okay.
And yeah, it's under the shop Friendly Power Sports in Louisiana. And dude, I went on it, super easy. Click on it, pick what brand you want, and then it just comes up with all these used motorcycles, and you go through them. They have virtual tours around the bikes. They have videos of them starting. And the best thing is they deliver it to you, I think, in 3 days or less. And it's a 30-day trial. So it's just like Amazon. If you don't like it, send it back. I mean, if
an entire motorcycle.
Yeah, if you take it out and you destroy the thing, then obviously they might not take it back. But no, it's so cool. It's so easy. They've helped me get the 2020 R1 this year. Gave me a stellar discount. I mean, I still had to pay, but like it was so much cheaper than what I'd normally have to pay. So these guys helped a lot. I mean, Ally has been sponsoring me since day one. Those guys, oh my God, I'm never ever gonna wear another helmet. People have tried to get me to wear other helmets, but I will never wear another helmet. I've hit my head too many times to count, and the amount of times that I stand up afterwards and I'm just like, I'll do it again, like,
yeah.
Those helmets are amazing. I mean, I can't give enough credit to Ally for how good their stuff works. Like, it's just outstanding. Like,
and what model do you use of the helmet?
The 72, the GP 72.
Okay.
Yeah. They give them to all the races before. He gives me a catalog. He goes, look at them, pick your favorite. I'm like, all right. So I do, and I love it. So
awesome.
It's really cool. And then the one thing that we're still looking for is a leather sponsor, if anybody knows. I mean, we were running Y2 wheels, but with the Corona and stuff, they're a small business. They were struggling, so they're like, we can give you gloves, but we're struggling with leathers right now. And I'm like, all right, I understand. I used to run in Oxford leathers, and I loved them. They were really, really good from the homeland, England, and but then they stopped production of suits because they were trying to make a new model. I mean, they even had a sponsored rider in I think BSB, and the whole Ducati was Oxford products, but he was wearing Alpine Stars. I was like, yeah, they must really not have any suits. So now I'm riding Alpine Stars, trying, take photos, post and stuff, get my name up there a bit more. So next year they can be like, look, we'll make you a custom suit because you've done awesome for us this year. But yeah, that's difficult. I mean, leathers aren't cheap. Well, they're not the most expensive thing out of racing, but they're not cheap either. So we're still trying to work on that. But we got a lot of different sponsors coming in. We may have a new sponsor with syrup coming in, which would be awesome. Because putting a big syrup logo on the bike, I think that'd be kind of cool. And then sorry, I'm just trying to think about all of them. Liquid Moly has helped us a lot. I mean, if you haven't put liquid moly oil in your bike, then what have you been doing? Pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's excellent stuff. I mean, they've MotoGP had chose it out of like every single oil. They chose liquid moly to put in their Moto2 bikes, and that wasn't. I mean, you can't. That's no bias. They're gonna put whatever's gonna work in their Moto2 bikes, and they chose liquid moly. So I mean, like as soon as I like read that and then found out it's all made in the same place, and it's like I was like, why wouldn't I put this?
It's a no-brainer at that point.
Yeah.
And they have not only oils but lubricants and cleaners and degreasers and
They sent me a catalog, and the amount of stuff they have, I was like, whoa. I was like,
I think they have like 30 or 40 different products that I know of.
Yeah, no, and then it expands too. I mean, they've got boating products, they've got car products, they've got, I think they have some airplane products. I mean, they've got so much stuff. And like, they send me the catalog, I'm like, wow, this is awesome. So I flipped through it. But those guys have helped me out a lot. We're hoping to get a little bit more help this year. We're trying to get a bigger truck because we've got so much stuff fit in that little yellow truck that it's starting to get broken now while we're driving. It's like everything's starting to fall and hit and stuff. So if we got a bigger truck, that'd be awesome. So we're trying to get something working with them where we can have a giant liquid moly truck and then work something out. But that's another fingers crossed thing, you know.
Yeah.
Well, they've given us, you know, the suit for my girlfriend, which gets a lot of attention for some reason. I don't know why. And then they've given us the canopies and stuff. So they've made us look more professional, and that's allowed us to, you know, look better with Moto America and stuff. So I'm really grateful for them stepping up. And then obviously, you know, Arrow Aviation, which is Tim Ivanov, the owner, and Thrash Bike Racing, which is the team. But yeah, if Tim is the biggest guy, because I mean, he puts all the money behind it. Money must grow out of his pocket because that dude always has like, you know, bills, and he's like, here, I'll get this, and I'm like, thanks, that's awesome. So that dude's absolutely amazing. You know when you can't thank somebody enough because they've done so much for you, that's one of the things. I was like, I look at Tim, I always tell him thank you after every weekend because I've always had a good weekend. I never leave the weekend angry, even if I like crash like 7 times. He can leave the weekend angry, but I mean, he's giving me my dream, you know. So, like I said, I'll never be able to thank that man enough. He's the backbone of our team for sure. So
it's so huge for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And I saw you had a pretty funny TikTok video. You were dancing. I think it was your girlfriend.
Yeah. Oh man, coronavirus got to me.
The quarantine.
Yeah. So we were. Courtney kept showing me this video. And there's the switch up, and I'm like, okay. And it's just all these people dressed in clothes, and then a light switch goes off, and then they come back in different clothes. I'm like, that's kind of stupid. I was laughing because I thought it was funny, but like, it's kind of stupid. It's simple. And then like she was like, we should do it. And I was like, whatever. And then she showed my dad, and she's like, look at this. And then dad's like, you should do it, it'll get you some followers. And I was like, okay. So yeah, I had to squeeze myself into her umbrella girl outfit. That was a fight because that thing was like super tight. But yeah, it actually turned out to be like one of Moto America's biggest like hitting videos. So it was really good. All credit goes to her because it was her idea. But yeah, it actually got me a lot of response, but some of it wasn't good response either.
Yeah, I'm sure. But
you know,
that was with the territory.
Yeah. So it was good. It's one of those things. I'm glad I did it, but I wish that people would forget about it sooner.
Yeah, for sure. That's understandable. And going back to your sponsors, I think another one that's kind of a mutual one of ours is one of my vendors, Moto D Racing.
Yes, Moto D with Scott. Scott
Diamond is awesome.
Scott is the man. I mean, he's taken me on track days. He helps me out with parts. He's hooked me up with different vendors. I mean, that dude is the man. I mean, he's always out there. He's working with customers. He's super busy. Trying to get him on the phone is pretty difficult. But, yeah, he's a good guy. He's hooked me up with Spark exhaust too, which,
Yep.
oh my God, dude, they sound so amazing.
Those Italian exhausts are just, they have such a good finish on them. And
oh my gosh. When you run them and they start getting, that blue, purple, red, oh my God, they're so beautiful.
Yeah.
And then Bonamici too. My dad always jewels over that stuff because when it comes in the box, it says jewelry for bikes. And my dad's like, yeah. And I'm like,
and you can't not say it like an Italian. It's Bonamici, right?
yeah, exactly. Exactly. And dude, I love that stuff. It makes the bike look so clean. Like, it's so good. Yeah,
So
Moto D's help with that. Huh?
You use the rear sets, the Bonamici?
Yeah, the rear sets, we started using their brake guard and their clutch guard. We use their engine case covers, because it's like this really nice black finish with a little bit of a design in it. It's like very subtle, but it's super nice looking. And then he's hooked me up too with a lot of stuff. I mean, he's given me stains that are black and yellow, so it works perfectly with our bike. All the rugs. I mean, you don't understand.
Those rugs are nice.
Yeah, once you set up your pit, it looks okay, but then when you throw one of his rugs down, it's like, wow, now it looks like legit, So he's a really good guy. Like I said, we've done some crazy stuff together, which I wouldn't be able to say right now, but he's awesome. I love hanging out with him. He's just busy. He's a busy guy. He's growing his business. He's working hard. He's putting the hustle in for sure. And then through Moto D, I actually met another sponsor, which was Moto Tech.
Okay.
And he buys from Moto D, and he's a really, really good. He works on all bikes. He fixes pretty much anything. He has a shop in Alabama. He's really, really good. He helps me out with stuff he has. He has different things, but he also pretty much goes, all right, what do you need from Moto D? Let me know. I'll cover the bill. And I'm like, sweet. So he's awesome too. JP is his name, and he's a really, really cool guy too. But yeah, Moto D, with the combination of Moto D and Liquid Moly, dude, our pit looks really, really good. If we showed up to a track day, everyone would be like, dang. The only reason we're a little downplayed is because, we're fighting with 18-wheelers.
Sure.
Once you got an 18-wheeler, then, okay, you beat our canopies.
Hard to compete against that.
Exactly. Or
they bring they bring a separate semi-truck just for hospitality. It's like, well, I can't, sorry, no.
No, not getting that.
Yeah, but those track mats we have them branded now in all different models. So we have them in Yamaha, Ducati, Suzuki, Honda. There's also a Moto America branded track mat too. You can put right on it.
Yeah, they're like I said, I don't know. It's just the little details with them that make them look super, super cool. So I like it a lot. They're really nice.
For sure. And how many sets of tires are you using now on a Superbike Moto America weekend?
A few.
Just a few.
I think we go through the first day to second day. We probably go through about 4 or 5 pairs of tires or sets of tires on the weekend. So we go through a bunch. I mean, once you get on the power on that 1,000, I mean, it shred. Well, actually, it doesn't shred. The Dunlop tires are absolutely phenomenal. I've only ridden on Dunlop since I was 12.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I mean, I've ridden on some others, and I think I rode on Bridgestones once, and they were like, oh, yeah, go try them. And I still prefer the Dunlops. I don't know why. It's just I love the feel of them. I know what's happening with them,
They're predictable.
Yeah, once I've been riding on them so long, it's they just feel really good. I trust that front more than anything. That front tire, I don't know what it's made out of, but it is so good. The only thing we got to work on is trying to keep that rear a little bit nicer. Like I said, it always is really nice at the end of the race, but I just start feeling it moving, and then it's like we need the suspension set up for the end of the race, but then that's wrong for the start of the race. So it's one of those things that we fight, but I think everyone has tire wear, so it's all over the board.
Just managing it the best you can with the information that you have and the technicians that are on hand.
Yeah, exactly. My two technicians.
So you got two guys in your pit?
Yeah, Tim and Dad.
Yeah.
Tim, unfortunately, had an accident a while ago. He's an excellent mechanic, but his dexterity is a little bit gone now. He struggles with some things, but yeah, my dad's the main guy who does everything, and Tim barks orders at him. And Tim does what he can, and then if he can't, he hates asking for people to do it because he knows in his head he can do it, but when it's a time crunch, then he's like, just do this real quick.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
And so when did you start racing in America at the professional level? Was that with Moto America in 2015, or did you get in with the AMA before that?
I actually started racing with USGPRU. They had do you know the Milwaukee?
Yeah, the Milwaukee 250.
Yeah, so my dad surprised me on my 12th birthday with a Milwaukee, and those things were sick.
Like a GP bike almost.
Oh, dude, they are GP bikes. Like those things are nuts. Super light, super quick. They handle like the easiest thing ever. So my dad got me one of those. It was awesome. And we started racing USGPRU. So we were racing the Milwaukee Cup. I was also racing in the 250 GT, the two strokes. I was racing against them. I was also racing this open class, which was like 125s and all these other bikes. But yeah, I started racing there. We won, I think, 2 national championships with them, or one national. Sorry, he just walked in, so I was like, okay. One national championship with USGPRU, and then we went to CCS, and we raced some with CCS. But then as soon as I was 16, I got straight on the R6, and I started racing AMA. So I think we did 1 year in AMA, and then the end of the year, that's when I met Tim, and I was going to start racing the XR 1200s, but then Moto America came in, they got rid of that class, and then they're like, well, we still want to sponsor you, still want to do stuff, so we jumped straight on a 1198, 1190 EBR, and started racing the big boy class. So it was kind of strange because I went from a 250 Milwaukee, and then I jumped straight to an R6, which I did for a year, and then I jumped straight to 1,000. So like my learning curve went from flowing always on the gas to point and shoot like 1,000. So I mean it was difficult. I mean, it took me a while to figure it out. I mean, I was riding with the best riders out there. I mean, you have Josh Herron, Josh Hayes, Cameron Bobier, Garrett Gerloff, Matthew Schultz, all these guys that I'm racing with. I mean, at the time, I was getting passed quite a bit because I was still learning, and I was just picking up on things they were doing and stuff. So it was good that I got thrown straight into the deep end because I progressed so much faster from it. But I do think if I stayed on the 600 just another year, it would have been very, very good for me too.
Yeah. I think about this quite often. It's a difference between, for me, I never got off of a 600. I was always on a 600. That was the biggest bike I really ever rode in a race. And I feel like I could stay on a 600 for another decade. Because until I master a 600, until I win a national championship at the top level, why do I need to move up to the next step? There's that side of it. And then there's the other side of it where it's like, well, you could ride a 1,000 tomorrow and be okay. You're not going to win, but maybe if you're in a top class, you get more exposure.
Yeah, that's one of the big things for us. We wanted to be in the superbike class this year and last year because I mean, they get the most exposure. They get the most TV time. They get the most coverage. They get talked about the most. It's like we want to be in that class so I can get more sponsors and get new people to come and check us out and get more followers. I mean, it's all about followers and sponsors and everything that really progress your team. So that's why we're definitely in the superbike class. But, yeah, I understand what you're saying. I mean, you could ride a 600 and be completely content and still – I mean, on whatever bike you're on, you always think you can go faster, so you could stay on that bike forever. But honestly, jumping for the to the 1,000, I learned a lot, and the speed is so much faster that when I get back onto my 600, like my skills have progressed a lot because I'm like, stay on the gas, stay on the gas, stay on the gas. I'm like, dude, I'm not going that fast because my 1,000's way quicker, and then I break super late. You know,
Yeah.
It's one of those things where you're so used to the speed of the 1,000 that when you get back onto the 600, it kind of slows down a bit, so you can really push yourself in the corners and stuff. And then getting back on a 250, I'm just pinned the whole time.
Yeah.
So,
No breaks. Yeah.
exactly.
Very good. And with your busy superbike schedule, are you throwing in any like support rounds for like say Wera or CCS in the meantime?
We would love to. It's just time. It's time and money. I mean, right now, we're looking at the schedule. I know the schedule's so funky for everyone right now. I mean, people don't know what they're doing. I know there's some rounds that are definitely like nailed down, but yeah, it's right now it's difficult. I mean, I'd always love to go, nip into a Weir race and, go race with those guys and do that. But it's trying to find the time between our races, because if I'm not driving the truck back home, I'm like, either setting up ready to go to the next race, the bikes are being worked on, getting prepped for the next race. It's like our main goal is Motor America, and then if we can slip in any other ones, we normally do one other round, which is the Armor event, the Vintage Fest at the end of the year. We didn't get to do it last year because I didn't have a bike to ride. We normally race the EBR, but I blew it up the year before. So, we'll try and do that one because I love the Vintage Fest. I mean, the crowd's so much fun. The people there, they're all there because they love racing, and they're having so much fun. They always, at the end of the racing, they get a big tequila barrel thing, and it's awesome. It's a really good experience. So we'll try to do that one again. But other than that, we might do some track days here and there. I'm going to try go to some of the tracks up in New Hampshire because I still haven't been to any of them yet.
Okay,
it's been snowing all winter. So, we're going to try get up probably to Loudon. And then there's this new track, which is the New Hampshire Motorsports Park, which we've looked it up, and it looks really sick. So we're going to go try that one out too. And other than that, we'll see what comes up.
Well, Daytona will be October, November?
Yeah, October is going to be a busy month. I mean, we're going from, if everything stays the way it is, we're going from Indianapolis straight down to Daytona and then all the way across to Laguna Seca.
Oh, man.
In one month.
Cross country a couple times.
Oh, man. I am going to be in a truck so long, and I'm trying to just not think about it at all, but I know it's coming. And then, that one's going to be a difficult month because I'm going to be on the road a lot. So we'll be figuring out and trying to do what we can.
Yeah, and Daytona, it's kind of an endurance race. It's not a full-fledged, like 4 to 6 hour endurance race, but how much longer of a race do you think that the Daytona 200 is, 200 miles, versus a standard superbike race? Is that like 3-4 times the distance?
Well, normally our laps are, we normally do about 20 laps on a normal track, but it's about 4 times the distance. Because, it's technically 56 laps. That's 50-ish laps. And, it's not like you're riding for hours and hours and hours, but it does take about an hour to complete but that's moving. I mean, we're averaging like 100 and something miles an hour because you're on that banking. That's the one part that's fun about it is an endurance race, but you keep getting that break when you're on the banking. I mean, you got to pick a position before you get on the banking though, because you're going. As soon as you're in a position, you get sucked onto the bike and you're stuck there. Like you're just like, okay, I guess this is what I'm doing. One time my foot fell off the peg, but there's so much G-force. I was like fighting trying to get my foot back on the peg, and I'm like, wow, it's pretty insane. But no,
I guess you don't think about that. You don't think about the being pushed into the wall as so much force.
Yeah, it's insane. When we go there, I don't remember the G-force exactly, but like you go onto a corner and you're like the tuck that you normally in, like your head starts pulling against the tank and your elbows start pulling, your legs start pulling. It's like you're literally crumpling onto this bike. But it's semi-relaxing because then you're not forcing your body to do it. The gravity and G-force is doing it for you. So.
Right. You almost need one of those like little foam pieces for your helmet, for your
Exactly.
just keep it off of there so it's not
Yeah,
bouncing.
yeah. So yeah, the worst part is when you catch a little bit of that wind and your head starts doing that. It's like you can fight it, but it
Yeah,
just wobbles away.
you're along for the ride at that point.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, have you done any legitimate endurance races? Do you have any aspirations of doing those?
Well, I would love to. I feel like my endurance is pretty good. I've done one endurance race, but it was like one of those low key ones. It was like I think it was a Ninja 250 2 hour endurance race, and I did two of them in a weekend at Jennings. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So
Sounds
I've done
pretty good.
some, and I had a lot of fun because on the Ninjas, dude, you just keep it pinned the whole time. The tires were going bad, but you don't notice it because they're just doing whatever they do. Um, but no, I would enjoy doing an endurance race. I feel like either a solo or with another rider, that would be a lot of fun. 'Cause, I mean, if I'm on a motorcycle, I'm happy. So if I'm on a
Sure.
motorcycle for 6 hours, I'd be pretty content.
Yeah, it gives you a lot of on-track race practice.
Exactly. And then after 6 hours on the track, you should know that track pretty well.
Hopefully.
You should know
Hopefully.
every bump on that track after that. So
Yeah, and I think about talking about this. I think about Andrew Lee. He was a stock 1000 guy, and he went over to Suzuka, I want to say, and did the Suzuka 8 hour. I think.
did he? I actually he was champion last year. I'm still waiting for him to come back to Motor America. I'm not sure if what's going on, but I actually didn't know that. No, he's an excellent rider. If if he did do that, I'd actually like to talk to him about it
I'm
because
pretty sure he did. I'm
I would
pretty sure.
love to do this because dude, that circuit. I mean, oh, that would be so much fun.
It's like one of the best ones in the world. It's a world-renowned circuit. Formula.
Exactly, but then the teams are stacked too.
Yeah.
I mean, you
Got
go and
Jonathan Ray
some of
with a
the.
MotoGP rider next to him.
I mean, you had who was it? Who's the Kawasaki team? It was like Jonathan
It was
Ray.
Top Rack, was it?
Yeah, all these like top level. But no, if I could get over there and do that, that would be awesome.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, for me, I'm just trying to get back out there at any level. I just beat
Yeah.
back marker today, but I mean, yeah, I'd eventually like to be competitive again.
Yeah. Like you said, dude, it takes a lot to get into the sport. It's training, money, budget, everything that goes into it. I mean, it's. I did a project in school, which was like the big project to finish school, and mine was how racing motorcycles was one of the hardest sports to compete in. And I went over all the different points, as in like you need a lot to do this. I mean, there's also injury involved and everything. It's a big deal to race motorcycles. So yeah,
It's a huge,
hopefully
yeah.
once you've claimed another championship in sport with mountain biking, you can start racing again. Yeah.
Yeah, I sure hope so. You know, it's a huge barrier of entry for motorcycle racing just because of the cost, everything that's involved. But yeah, I definitely want to get back onto a 600. I was thinking for a while, maybe if I get into make like a 300 or 400, that might be an easier step in the meantime because it's so much cheaper.
Yeah.
And you're not going 150. You're still going over 100 miles an hour though. It's not
Yeah,
nothing.
yeah. You'll be pushing like 108 kind of time. Yeah. But no, a lot of people come to the track and they're on, thousands and stuff. And I'm like, dude, watch you ride. No offense, but you need to get on a 400 or something. And they're like, why? And I'm like, dude, you're just going to learn a lot more. You're going to have way more fun. Thing is, if this dude showed up on a Bengali and it's so nice, and I'm like, dude, if you drop that, that's like a lot of money. But if you drop, if you crash a 400, 400 parts are floating around everywhere. You can snag one for a decent amount. So yeah, if I was getting into racing right now and I had no money, I would definitely start going for like the 400 route for sure.
Yeah, and maybe I could dominate that class. I have a lot of races under me. I think I've I think the number is over 160 races I've competed in. So,
Dang, so yeah.
So yeah, really just right now I'm focusing on my business. That's my big thing. So Eric Swahn.
You gotta get the business going to get the money so you can come motorcycle race.
Yep. So I'm selling products online, ericswanracing.com and shopesr.com. I'm on eBay and Amazon. I sell stuff on Etsy for vintage, Craigslist for local Metro Detroit. I'm working with like Moto D, Bonamici, Easy Grip for the tank grips. I got those Spark Italian exhaust, and right now I actually have a full-time worker in India, and my aunt just started working for me remotely. She's retired, so she's looking for something to do. So that'll definitely help out. And my dad's helping out remotely as well. He's doing part-time, helping to make product listings. Because right now I have actually 8 vendors, 8 dropship vendors that I can sell their products to and I have access to, but they're not all listed for sale online. So it's great that I have access to these, but I can't actually sell them until you do all the work to put them on Amazon and my own website. So it takes quite a while, and it's not a get-rich-quick scheme, this whole business thing.
Yeah.
I've actually sold over 2,000 orders now to all 50 states and 35 countries. So it's not.
Hey man, that's moving. Saying that it's growing and stuff, dude. That's awesome. That's really, really good.
So it's exciting.
You'll be having motorbikes by the handful soon. You know.
That's the goal, man. That's the goal, man. I just need. I'd love to have maybe a 400, a 600, a 1,000. You know, get all of them.
Just be careful riding them all in one day, because I did that once and it got so confusing really, really fast.
Yeah. I'm sure going from the 1,000, if you're doing maybe a track day and a 600 now, you're like, I'm so messed up, man. My shit points are all different and everything.
Yeah, the one thing is how much more the my 600 screams. I'm like, I'm like on it, and you kind of have to, even though it's not a 2-stroke, you got to kind of keep it more in the power area on the 600 and just rev the nuts off of it. Where the R1, you could be in 2,000 RPM and hit the gas and that thing goes,
Yeah.
One of those
I was just talking about how you could theoretically stay in first gear the entire time and stay under the speed limit on a 1,000cc bike on the street. I mean, first gear is what, 70 miles an hour?
Yeah. I honestly, I struggle. They have a speed limit in the pit lane, and it's 38 miles an hour. And I struggle to do that in first gear on that bike. Like, I do it because I don't want to get a penalty, but oh my God, I'm like, and I'm doing 38 miles an hour. I'm like, I feel like I'm walking. Like, this is so slow. Like, those things are monsters. If I did ride on the street, I don't know how I'd be able to do the speed limit, because it'd be so difficult.
Well, to be honest, I actually got into racing because I got arrested for speeding.
That would do it.
Yep, it was 2010. I got a 600, and a couple months later, I got clocked at a 147 on the local highway over here, and
it happens.
I realized, well, I can't do that again. So I was like, well, how do I get to the racetrack, and how do I not be stupid about this? How do I use my motorcycle in the right way?
Well, I see. Like, I had a bunch of friends in Louisiana, and they buy stuff, and they're like, "Dude, I can't. I'm gonna sell it." I'm like, "Why?" And they're like, I'm too dangerous on the street. I keep doing like 100 and blah, blah. And I'm like, then do it on the track. Like, don't worry about the street. Keep your bike, get on the track, have fun with the actual, like, the bike you paid for. This is the bikes that you can buy now from the store. They're so amazing already. Like, man, I don't know. It's like you have to put them on the track at least once,
Yeah, I think it should be. I don't know about mandatory, but you get some sort of like insurance credit. Like, maybe go to the track, you should get some money off of your insurance every year because you're designated as a safer rider. You understand you're able to go 160 no problem, and right.
The only thing is, though, if you do that, your insurance might look at it different because now you're racing your bike and you are doing 160. And if you fall at 160, your bike's probably gonna get. But I agree. I think definitely, because if that was true, the amount of races I've done, I should have zero insurance payments for my bike.
They should be paying you to go out.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Oh man, and one thing I did want to talk about was we mentioned it, or I think we texted about it months ago. Is you were doing some training outside in your driveway or something, and I said, man, we should have some sort of training camp, like they do for NFL, like a training camp where
Yeah.
they have like a skills competition, or even like the NHL All Stars where they have some sort of skills competition for racing for Moto America. I think it'd be just another thing to have almost free content over. I mean, you'd all have to convene at some place, but
Yeah. I mean, dude, that'd be so much fun. I would have a blast with that. It's like put us through our test, have some different challenges and stuff. Oh yeah, dude, I'd be 100% down. I mean, the Heron compound's pretty big, you know. We go there and do. Well, that's up to Josh himself, you know.
I'm
But
sure he wouldn't be okay with that, right?
yeah, I think it'd be all right.
Yeah, I mean that's a place that's on my list to go to, the Heron Compound, and go ride his little kart track there. It looks like a cool place, but
Dude, I see people post about it all the time. I'm like, dude, it looks a hell of a lot of fun. But I don't think Josh is there as much anymore because I think he lives in California now with his new fiance. So
okay.
I know he goes there every now and then, but I know he's training a lot of the Ovali kids in California too. So.
Yeah.
But no, I'd be completely down for some challenges at the Heron compound. I'd be sick.
So what kind of activities do you think they should have? Do you think they should do the typical like 40-yard dash or jumping? But there also should be a bike component where maybe a braking contest or wheelie. I'm not sure.
Definitely. They should definitely do a TT start kind of thing. You know, with like a sprint to the bikes, one lap, the fastest you can go. You know, that'd be cool. I mean, they could have a couple things. I mean, they could do a plant contest because you know the racers, their core has to be so strong, and just have us all lined up. First one to drop loses. You know, like
Yep.
we'll do stuff like that. Um, uh, Other than that, I don't know. I have to think about it. I have to think about
Like you squat against the wall with your hands out, holding something for as long as.
that would be a good one too. Yeah.
Yeah, it'd just be cool to see to show the world, because maybe the world doesn't know how physical and how great of athletes I think motorcyclists are.
Well, the one thing that I've seen once, which I've liked watching, they've had a couple different things where they've taken all the athletes of the world and they've put them through tests. And Neil Hodgson, a motorcycle racer, won it. And he wasn't against, he was against professional other athletes. He was against soccer players, swimmers, and all this. And they put him through obviously a variety of tests. And overall, the motorcycle racer was the most fit. I mean, obviously everyone had their strengths, but
Yeah.
the physical, full physical like strength of the motorcycle racer, he actually beat swim. But I think the swimmer was second and stuff like that. But yeah, it was really cool to see because I was kind of like, everyone look at that because that's true. Like we got to push ourselves really, really hard. And then
Yeah.
also there was another motorcycle racer. I think it was Carl Fogarty, and they were in like, I think that one was the jungle one, wasn't it? Something like that. And he beat everyone in that too. And I'm like, yeah, racing for the wins. It was cool.
It's cool to see that confirmation on the other side.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's a lot of things that other sport like professional athletes are really really good at, but like overall, like the full all roundedness, I think racers are very very well set.
Yeah, for sure. And now, what are you typically doing for your diet regimen? Do you have a specific, I only eat this, or I stay away from these foods, or are you just kind of like, yeah, whatever, it's all goes in, comes out?
Pretty much how I see it. I don't really have the time to do all the dietary stuff. My girlfriend does. She does it a lot. But what I kind of do is, as long as I'm burning more calories than I'm consuming, then I'm all right. So I mean, if I eat a whole box of Oreos, I have to go train extra hard that day. If
Yeah.
I eat a salad, then I mean I still train hard, but I don't have to push and get all those calories off. That's pretty much how I see it. I used to be a personal trainer, but I never really got into like the diet side of it because it was a whole different course and stuff. But yeah, what I've learned is if you're putting more work in than you're consuming, then you'll stay fit, you'll stay healthy. There, I could be healthier. I'm not saying that dieting is bad or anything. Like if I did have a stricter diet, I would be better, more lean, healthier, and stuff. But at the moment, it's just trying to find the time to do it all. It's one of those things you got to get into it and stay into it and kind of do that stuff. I wish I did. It would be really cool. But yeah, right now it's pretty much, if I see it and it looks good, I'll probably eat it and then I'll work it off later.
Well, it's all about balance, and it's not necessarily a specific diet, but a lifestyle that works for most people.
Exactly. So what I'm thinking now is if I went on a diet and I started eat, this is just my theory. It's not the smartest theory, but if I eat bad now, my body can deal with it. And if I all of a sudden started eating healthy, my body would move over to the healthy side. And if I started eating bad again, it would all just. So if I just always eat semi bad, then my body will be able to deal with it.
Yeah. It's like giving your body some immunity, right?
Exactly. I'm immune to bad food. So that's good.
There it is. So if you had some ultimate goals or ultimate aspirations for motorcycle racing, what would those be, or where would you want to be, and what series?
I mean, I think everyone's goal is to be a MotoGP. I would absolutely love to do that. To race on the top level with the top guys. I mean, I'm already at the top level in America with the top guys, which is awesome. But just to, travel the world. Even Jake Gagne did World Superbikes, and I was talking to him. He's been all these different places and stuff, and I'm like, dude, that's awesome. Like, to be paid to go all over the world, meet all these different fans, and just do what you love. That's the ultimate goal for me. To get there is a whole different story. I mean, my time limit now is getting a little scarce, with my age and stuff. But even if I could get to World Superbikes and do a round, race there, do that, it's all about getting picked up. You got to get picked up by the right team. You got to be seen by the right people. You have to have a good attitude. It's a lot of different things. I do wish I could go race in Europe a bit more because I'm unfortunately, besides the grass track that I did as a kid, I've never really raced there. And I know that would help get my name out a lot. I mean, you see a lot of these other riders now who are racing all over, trying to get their name known and stuff. So that would be the ultimate goal. But for this year, definitely just to get that 2020 bike settled under me. Push, continuously get top tens, continuously be in Super Pole. And, dude, I want to get top 5. My dad's like, you're going to have to work hard. And I'm like, I know, but I want to get top 5. And if I could get on the podium, I mean, that's a big ask for what our team has, especially when you've got 4 pretty much factory bikes out there. But no, if I could get on the podium, oh my God, it'd be amazing. My fans would go nuts. The thing is, if I was on the podium, I don't think anybody in the paddock would be like, nah, I'm not happy about that. I think everyone would be like, dang, that'd
be great. The privateer getting up on top, everybody wants to see that.
Exactly. And then, yeah, that would be awesome. So, I said MotoGP is the main goal, but this year, get on that podium.
Yeah, and I think you've gotten a top 6, is it, your top finish?
Yeah, my best finish was, I think, 6th place at Sonoma,
California.
And yeah, that was a crazy race. A lot of people battling and doing things. But yeah, it was that's my best finish. I was, dude, you should have seen me when I got off the bike. I was like, yeah, freaking out. It was great race. I had a lot of fun. But yeah, if we can get back up there, I really want a top 5. Like I said, you've got 4 factory-ish teams, and you've got 3 to 4 really good teams. I mean, Wyman's Ducati's really good. You've got the Westby team where their Yamaha is sick. You've got the David Anthony team and his Suzuki. He bought M4s, Jake Lewis's M4 Suzuki. So that bike is extremely really good. So I mean, to get that 5th place is going to be very difficult, but looking at the start of this year, my confidence is way up, and I think it's doable for sure.
And you never know what could happen. There's the old saying, racing is not a math test. Even
No.
if he's faster than you in qualifying, he's not always going to beat you.
Exactly. I mean, people have mistakes. People have malfunctions. People.
I mean, look at Cambobier at the last race.
Exactly. Dominating the whole weekend, lap records, and then, small bump in the first corner. It's one of those things that happen during racing. It's one of those things you got to live with. So it can put me up there a bit more, which would be awesome. But, it'd be cool to do it just, straight up too. Everyone stays on and I still get top 5. That would be
Sure.
That would be sick.
That's better, but you'll take the crashes as well.
Oh yeah, I'll take it. If you're just gonna give me a gift, then I'll take it.
Well, you got to assume almost in every single race, there's a percentage of riders who are going to crash. Just going to happen. So
yeah, I mean, we're all on the limit. So
yeah.
I mean, the limit only goes so far. So most of the time, most races, there will be one crash or something like that, or not even a crash. Sometimes it's just, a malfunction where with Tony, his chain came off. So that put him out, unfortunately. And there's a bunch of other things that can happen. But yeah, there's always that small percentage of something's going to happen.
Yeah, for sure. And coming from the UK, would you ever consider going over to the Isle of Man and riding that course at least?
I would do it for fun. I wouldn't race it. I mean, there's guys who do race the Isle of Man. Oh, mad respect. They've just got a different brain. I mean, those guys have been bred to race the Isle of Man, and that's what they do. They're street racers, and like I said, it's phenomenal. I mean, watching those guys race, I love watching it. But if I was ever to go, I'd go with my dad and cruise it and just have a good time and enjoy the road. Or, if I did get famous and get to go to MotoGP, I'd do what Valentino Rossi did. Valentino Rossi rode when he was back on the Ducati, he rode around it on a Ducati just waving at people.
Yeah.
I'd be fine with that. But to do, what are they averaging? Like 160?
140 something?
Yeah, 130 miles an hour with walls and trees and lampposts.
Wild.
I'm good. I just couldn't do it.
Something I think of, I hesitate saying this sometimes, but something I think of that might help, I don't know if it would help the sport of motorcycle racing, but it would get more eyeballs on it, is if they did more street courses. But that opens up a whole new ball of wax with danger issues. I mean,
Exactly. It's one of those things. It's like, the Isle of Man's been used so many times, and they keep the road really nice. And then they've figured out, I mean, people die there nearly every year. They figured out a lot of the safety things that they need to do. But if they did open up a new course, if they just opened up a random course in the middle of somewhere, it'd be a lot of safety stuff. They'd need to change all the paint on the road. They'd have to go over it'd be a lot of work to make it happen. I mean, it'd be cool if people could just, step out their house and see a race. That's sick. But, I don't even know what it would, you'd have to do to make it happen.
Right. Yeah. There's so many people that would lobby against the safety of it, because this one's been in place for over 100 years now.
Yeah. And then, I mean, there's also, the homeowners society, oh, you can't open the racetrack here, and my daughter's trying to play piano and the motorbikes are messing up. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah. And then stepping away from racing a little bit, what do you do to get rid of stress or to decompress after a long weekend?
Oh, dude, honestly, once I'm done racing, I drive home in a truck, which probably makes me more stressed out because I have to drive through New York and Washington and all them places on the way up here. But when I get home, my mom and sister always give me a hug, which is nice. But then the best thing is my pups. I got 2 black labs, and all I do is lay on the floor, stretch my back, and they just came and lay on me and lick me and stuff. I'm like, I love it, dude. Walking my dogs, playing with them, and messing around with them. That's probably one of my biggest stress relievers, just kind of hanging out with my pups and doing that. And they're awesome.
And what's their names?
Pepper and Mars.
Pepper and Mars.
Yeah, they were the only black labs in the litter, so there's only two of them, which is strange because dogs normally have like six pups. But yeah, they're pretty much identical, and they're so different because their attitudes are pretty funny. So yeah, no, they're awesome. I love them to death.
And they're good runners.
Oh yeah, they I actually go out on my longboard and they just pull me along all the way down. We go all the way down to the river, then they jump in like idiots, and then I just hang out, and then they pull me all the way back. It's really good. So they're really good dogs.
It's good to have something outside of your main passion as well. You know, like a not a side hustle, but just something to
Yeah,
get home.
yeah, exactly. It's like racing's awesome, but like you gotta have something else on the brain sometimes, you know. So,
Yeah. And do you have a side hustle, or is racing your full-time gig right now?
I used to, when I was in Louisiana, I used to be a personal trainer. I was training young athletes with Parisi. It's called Parisi Speed School. And I was training young athletes to become professional athletes pretty much. And it was good with that because, I could go, look, I am a professional athlete. I train really hard and I got there. So if you follow me and I can show you what you need to do, that was good. When I moved up here, not so much. I worked at a concrete factory for a while because I wanted, broaden my horizons, see what kind of work was out there and to do and stuff. So I got my forklift certification with that. But then they wanted full time. The hardest thing as a racer is trying to find a job that's flexible around racing. I mean, when you're telling your boss that, hey, I'm going to be gone this whole month, and they're like, what? I'm like, yeah, well, I'm going to go here, 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 and here. And then they just look at you and I'm like, nah, it's not going to work. And it's like, you know what I'm saying? It's difficult.
Yeah.
So I probably will start looking for another job soon because, extra money's always nice. But racing's my main hustle at the moment.
I mean, when you're in the superbike class, there's not much time for a full-time gig.
Exactly, because between the races, the traveling, and then keeping up with social media and stuff, it's like, whoa, I need
Full-time job.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a lot to do. And then if I was trying to do the training, I mean, I train like 3 to 4 hours a day, and then I mean, if I was working a 12-hour day and then I had to do 4 hours of training on it, dude, I'd be melted.
Yeah, not much extra time at all.
Yeah, so it is difficult.
Yeah. Yeah, and then if you're gone for a month or something, then it's just so hard to keep a steady job. If you're gone from for Road America would be you have to be there Wednesday night or Thursday morning, is it?
Yeah, well, I leave Tuesday because it's a 2-day drive. Then I get there for Thursday morning, set up, then qualifying Friday, race Saturday, race Sunday, 2-day ride back. I wouldn't be able to work until Wednesday, so that's a full week pretty much of me being gone.
It's almost like you should be paid.
Yeah, exactly.
One day it'll be there, right?
One day. I'll take what I can get for now, though.
Yeah, for sure. And are there any series that you follow, whether it's MotoGP or NHL, or what series do you follow on TV or on?
I follow a couple. I definitely follow MotoGP and World Superbikes. I love watching those guys. I watch them when I can, but then my dad also is a huge fan, so sometimes he'll watch them and delete them before I get a chance to watch them.
DVR?
Yeah, I see how sometimes he's like, oh, I've already watched it, I deleted it. I'm like, oh, thanks, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've watched the Isle of Man when it comes on. And then, but yeah, mainly the main ones. I watch some BSB when I can, but it's just when it's on TV because, with all the different channels and stuff, it's difficult to stay on top of everything.
Yeah.
And then I always watch the Moto America ones because, I need to watch what they're doing, critique what I'm doing, see if I can do anything better. I mean, interviews too. I even critique those. I see myself. I'm like, oh, I should have said this, should have mentioned this person. It's, but yeah, I love watching MotoGP. I can't wait for it to start again. I've been watching the PlayStation races or the online races. I think they're so funny.
The sim racing.
Yeah, dude. Some of them are like rage quitting and stuff.
Yep.
Dude, if I was in MotoGP though right now, Oh, dude, I'd be dominating the PlayStation racing. I'm a beast on that thing. But
Yeah, you good with the controller in your hand too?
oh, definitely, definitely.
Are you on the PS4 or Xbox?
PS4.
PS4, and you got the new MotoGP 2020?
Actually, I'm still on 19 because I just haven't bought the 2020 yet because I'm one of those completionists where I got to do everything. So
Yeah.
I started as like the little 250 rider, and then I went to the Moto 2. Now I'm in MotoGP, and then I've done that like 3 or 4 times on different movies and stuff. But yeah, I'd have so much fun in that race.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I recently got an actual simulator with a wheel and pedals and everything.
Yeah.
I got that upstairs hooked up to the PS4, so I've been doing that with the car, Gran Turismo.
Oh yeah, Gran Turismo. I love that game too. Yeah.
Yep, I've been competing with that. I think the new Formula One game is coming out any day now. Formula One 2020. So I like to get that one.
Yeah, I like the rally ones too. I like
Oh
the
yeah.
drifting in those. Those are really fun. But yeah, I like Gran Turismo, and then all the MX versus ATVs too. Those are
Oh
so
yeah.
much fun.
So are we gonna ever see you behind the wheel?
Wheel. Yeah, sure. I'll be down.
You do that, yeah. Any sports car open wheel? Any class ideas?
um, Dude, I don't know. I've heard going from motorcycle racing over to car racing is easy but different because their lines are weird. Like I tried go karting and like I'm fast, but like I'm always like a second off like the fastest guys because like if the corner's like this, I go in and take it where they go like that, and I'm like that makes no sense. But nah, dude, if someone came up to me and they're like, hey, look, we're doing like a Mini Cooper Cup or like a Miata Cup or something. Oh, dude, 100% sign me up. That would be so much fun. I would love to
Yeah.
rip it.
Yeah, the lines are definitely very different. You're doing a different vehicle. With the bike, it's very much there's so much power behind it. You really want to shoot for the end of the curving.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
On the carts, it has the ability to keep a lot of corner speed. So you really use all of the track in that instance and not shoot for the end of the curve, but kind of the start of the curve maybe.
Yeah, it's like I said, it would take me a second to get used to, but I think I'd pick it up pretty quickly. And yeah, I would love to do that. That'd be a lot of fun. I mean, I don't know if I could do rally racing because those guys are on a different level. Like, oh my gosh, like they go between trees that are like the car fits like it has 2-inch gaps
With the
side.
mirrors, yeah, just barely with the mirror.
And I'm like, no, that mirror would be so off if I was driving. But nah, the only thing I'd have to worry, I'd rather have like older school, like where people don't care as much about their cars, because I probably would bump into someone. Because
It's gonna happen.
yeah, it's gonna happen. I wouldn't want to race like the high end Porsches or anything, because I would bump you. I'd be like, if I'm coming up the inside and you're closing the door, I'm not gonna crash like I do on my motorcycle, so I'll just be bumped. No biggie.
Yeah, use them as a curbing a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, you're really precise with the super bike, so I think given some seat time, you'd be just fine behind a car.
Oh, definitely. Like I said, it's just time in the seat, just like racing. So.
Yeah, and there's always some hairy incidents. I remember, I think it was at Black Hawk Farms, the first scary moment that I ever had, real scary moment on a bike where I didn't crash and I saved it, where I missed my braking point by just a little bit, and there was a guy right in front of me. And he hit his braking point. And, I'm coming closer. I'm closer. I'm about to hit your rear tire. And, just kind of keep it standing up to the outside of the track. And he ended up turning in, and I had turned in a little bit later. But those pucker moments where you're like, this is going to be really bad. It doesn't happen. How do you, at the top level of superbike racing, deal with those moments? Because those probably happen all the time now.
Yeah, I mean, the one good thing about racing in the superbikes is everyone's sort of on the same level. I go out there, and if Tony Elias is this close to me, I'm like, it's Tony Elias. Like I trust him. It's a lot of trust. I mean, I trust all the guys I race with. When new people come, it's like, do I trust that guy as much? Like sometimes when I see new people out there, I'm a little more hesitant on passing them because I have to kind of watch what they're doing first to see. I don't want to do this and then do that. But yeah, I mean, there is moments when you're coming in and you're in the slipstream and then you hit the brakes and you're going way faster than you think and you're like, dude, I'm about to hit you. Like, I'm about to hit you. I'm about to hit you. And like, you just gotta keep like they're gonna stay there. So if you can kind of stay out and try like the same you said on the outside of the track and wait for them to turn it. I mean, Jake Gagne did an excellent pucker moment save where he lost his brakes going into the chicane as he was trying to pass Wyman. And instead of like trying to slow down and causing an issue, he just gunned it and got past Wyman before Wyman turned in. And I was
yeah, I remember seeing that. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a really smart move. I mean, and then you have the opposite where, I mean, unfortunately, Bobby Fong rear-ended Matthew Skoltz because they were both on the brake super hard. Matthew's a really deep braker. I mean, Bobby's an excellent rider, but it's just one of those things where he was like, oh my God, I'm about to hit him, but he wasn't on the outside of the track. He was trying to get that thing slowed down so Matthew could just make it, but it's just one of those things where, you know, it wasn't going to happen. So
it doesn't happen very often, but it does happen.
Yeah, every now and then, especially at Road America. I mean, everyone was having weird brake issues this past weekend. I was having weird brake issues. A couple of the other guys were having weird brake issues. If you go into a corner and say you have a head shake, your brake pads have moved out. If he came into a corner without brakes, I mean, dude, you're right up their butt. So it's like whatever happens, I mean, it's unfortunate. I'm glad to see him hug it out at the end. Just weird thing to say, but I mean, when they were just like, dude, I get it, no biggie, that was awesome to see. It wasn't like they were like, punch, you know.
Well, they're also so professional. They're so professional, and they're at the top level. They're like, it's Bobby Fong. He's not going to do that on purpose. He's not a dirty rider.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it was a mistake, and, you know, it was an innocent mistake, and Matthew saw it for what it was, and, yeah, that was it. So, unfortunate, but, you know, things happen.
Now, I'm not quite sure of the exact technology or what it's called, but I know there's something that exists where to eliminate that exact situation where the brake pads would come apart from having a head shake. There is a device, I think it's called, to push those brake pads into the rotor. I think they use it on cars more than motorcycles. It's more common.
I think I know what you're talking about. It's like a weird metal spring clip thing.
Yeah.
Always like it can compress, but like it always kind of keeps them in. I don't know if I don't think they have them on ours yet.
No.
I'm sure someone's looking into it, but nah, it's one of those things where if you know you've had a bad head shake, you just gotta kind of, you know, tap that brake while you're going down the straight, tucked in. Just kind of tap it, make sure it's still there. Because the worst thing is when you go into a corner with no brakes. That's terrifying.
Yep. And Moto America has, I think, the rule where if you crash, you can remount and you don't have to retech during the race, which is, I think it's nice in a way, right? Because you can rejoin the race.
Yeah. I've done that. I think it was in Sonoma. I came into the last corner and there's a bump in there. So I was going through a maximum lean angle because I messed up the corner. So I was trying to get it turned. I hit that bump and I low-sided. Two people got past me. I ran to the bike, picked it up. It was still running, picked the clutch up, got on, took off, passed the two people that passed me. I mean, it's good. I mean, sometimes if you have a bad wreck and your bike flipped or something, the marshals on the side of the track have to deem it safe. Okay. So the best thing to do is pick it up, wait for them to get there if they're coming, and get back on the bike. I mean, if it's a simple low side, not so much, but like most of the time, like in Utah, I've done it again. I high-sided, went through the gravel. I picked the bike up. I knew it would run, so the marshal was running to me, so I started pushing my bike towards the marshal. I started it. I'm like, look, it's fine. Check the belly pan. He's like, go. And I took off. And I was like, that was the best way to get back on track. Yeah. I came in. My lever guard was like this, so I had to race with like brake up here.
Yeah.
It was interesting. But, yeah, no, it's good because, I mean, the most important thing is like being, you know, finish the race, get points, do what you can, you know. So, yeah, I like that rule. It's a good one.
Now, there's both sides of that argument too, where, yes, it's nice to finish the race, but also it's a huge hazard, isn't it? Because I was watching a race, I think it was the 2008 MotoGP season, rewatching one of the races. I forget what round, maybe Portugal. And one of the riders, he crashed. And these guys are world level riders. Like these are the best. And he crashed, remounted. Now he's doing 120. Realizes I have no brakes. My brake lever is gone. You just see him do this, and there's nothing there. And he just wads it up. And luckily he was okay. But like that could have been a really, really bad one.
Yeah, that's why, like I said, if we do have a big crash, that's why the corner marshals do have to look at your bike. If they see that you don't have a brake, they won't let you back on track. And then also, if you do get back on the bike and say, like, my brake guard was up here, it was harder to ride, so I didn't have the fastest times. But they have 110%, I think it is. So if you're racing and you're not 110% to the first place guy, or if your times are so slow because your bike's messed up, they'll just black flag you. They're like, you're unsafe. We don't want you out there. People could hit you. Get off the track.
That's good.
That's one of the things you got to deal with. So even if you crash your bike, once you get back on, you can't just, dawdle around.
Yeah, putz around.
Points. You actually have to go. Like, yeah, it's.
And I think you also have to finish within a certain couple laps of the finisher.
I think it's well, it doesn't matter about laps because you could be lapped and still finish. But I think it's like you got to finish within, I think, 2 or 3 minutes of the actual. When the first place finishes, you have 3 minutes to get over the line.
Yeah.
Because most tracks, your time isn't 3 minutes long.
Right. It shouldn't be longer than 3 minutes. You're doing 3 minutes, you're doing something wrong.
Exactly. The longest track is Road America, and that's 2 minutes. Well, 2 minutes 10 for the fastest guy, but average. 2:15, 2:16 kind of thing.
Yeah, and that's a 4-mile track.
Yeah, so on the shorter ones, I mean, it's like Barber, it's like 120 something. Yeah.
What kind of class you're in?
At Pittsburgh, I ended up pushing my bike over the line. So we had an electrical malfunction, and I pushed it. Danny Eslick helped me push with his foot.
Yeah.
He pushed me into the pits because I thought we could cross the line in the pits and it would be, it's a finish. But it turns out you had to cross it on the track. So then I had to push my bike up this hill, back around the wall, back down, and I finished the race. Everyone was cheering, And then I came in and I was like, sweet, I finished. I still got points. And then they go, no, you didn't. And I said, are you serious? They said, you were 15 seconds over the time.
Oh, no.
I was like, oh, are you kidding me? I was like, I crossed the line in the pits. And they said, no, it had to be on track. I'm like, dang. If I just stayed on track, I would have been fine. But
all those stupid little rules you don't memorize, right?
Exactly. Lesson learned. Next time, I'm just going to push it down the track.
Yeah. Hopefully it doesn't happen next time. But
yeah, hopefully. So no more electronic malfunctions.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard to, with all the technology and all the electronics that it's out there nowadays, it's hard to get everything to work together every single time.
Yeah, and dude, once you have one electrical glitch, it's just like you're continuously chasing different ones. But when everything's working perfect, no better feeling.
Yeah. And did you ever ride the old Pittsburgh before they put in the new section?
I did not, actually. I heard it was a wild little track.
Pretty short one.
Yeah, very short. I mean, I can't imagine it. I mean, the track time must have been like a minute something. Like it was
like 110, 111, I think.
Yeah, that's short.
On a 600.
Wow, yeah, that's really short then. Yeah, no, I never got to ride it, but I do love that track. The armor coating's, a little off-putting, but, if you just kind of ignore it and keep going, the track's really, really fun. I do. And the new section they've made, oh my God, it flows so well. It's really, really nice.
A lot of elevation down there.
Oh yeah, going down into that bottom corner, it's like everything's just like compressed, and you uncompress it going up the hill, and then it wheelies and stuff. It's super fun.
Yeah, very good. Well, let's wrap it up here. I think that's close to 2 hours now. So where can people find you online? Are you online anywhere?
I mean, I'm on Instagram, Max88 Flinders. You can get me there. Facebook is Max Flinders Racing. I have a race page, which we're trying to get more followers to. So if anyone can go follow me on there, that'd be awesome. We have Twitter, which is Max Flinders. And, pretty much on nearly all social medias. There's a bunch of new ones popping up now, so I'm not on those yet. I mean, there's TikTok. I probably won't be on that one, but what is it? Yeah, I have my website, which is maxracing.co.uk. Other than that, no. I mean, if anyone wants to get a hold of me or talk to me, the best thing to do would probably be either Instagram or Facebook Messenger. I'm pretty good on those. But no, if more followers I can get, the better. So if anyone sees this and they like what we're talking about, I mean, I'd love a follow or just let me know or comment or something. But yeah, no, that was good talking to you.
Yeah, I appreciate you taking the time to ramble on with me for 2 hours. This, what is it, Friday morning? It's Friday, July 3rd today.
Hey, man, when you told me 8 a.m., I was like, what?
Yeah, I apologize, but it's a little bit early. I do. I'm an early riser. I'm usually up at 5 a.m. every day, so this works perfect for me. And now I get to edit this for the next couple hours and get it posted probably in the next day or two. Hopefully.
All right, sweet, awesome. Well, yeah, I'll let you get to editing, and happy 4th of July. I hope you have a good weekend. Don't blow too many things up with fireworks, but yeah, no, it was great talking to you.
Yeah, thanks again, Max, and I'll see you out there next round at Road Atlanta.
Perfect. See you there, dude.
All right, take care. Bye-bye.